That requires everybody to make sure that they stay informed. Most particularly, we've got to make sure that our health workers are informed. We're also going to be working on protocols to do additional passenger screening, both at the source and here in the United States. All of these things make me confident that here in the United States, at least, the chances of an outbreak of an epidemic here are extraordinarily low.
Yeah, he went from outbreak to epidemic. This was a few weeks ago, and none of this has happened. We're joined now by Congressman Marsha Blackburn, Vice Chair of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Congressman, I know, first of all, welcome back. I know you're holding hearings tomorrow on this very issue of Ebola, CDC, travel restrictions, you name it. What's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, what you're going to see us do tomorrow is a little bit deeper dive on questions that I've had and discussions I've had with Dr. Frieden. I was at the CDC on October 7th. I talked to him again last week. I have questioned how in the world we could expect hospitals across the country to be prepared for this when at the CDC itself, Ebola is tested in what is called a BSL-4 lab. And that is people in the suits that you see and you go, oh, these look like space suits, and they have their own air supply. You have to have chemical showers as you exit these areas. I mean, just extreme precautions taken to handle Ebola or any of these other pathogens, whether it's something like anthrax or smallpox or any of the other items that are the pathogens that are so deadly. So we're very concerned about the lack of protocols that seem to have been given to hospitals, about the lack of instruction to the state health departments. Steve, think about your hospital lab. If you were to go in and have blood drawn and it were to be tested in the hospital lab, how are they supposed to clean the equipment? Is there supposed to be designated equipment? When it comes to bodily fluids from those that have Ebola, how are you to handle those fluids? How are they to be stored? How are they to be transported? How are they to be destroyed? There are so many questions that surround this that it shows, no, we're not prepared.
Right. Well, that's what I want to ask you, Congressman, not to interrupt, but if he doesn't have specific answers to these very legitimate questions at this point into the problems we're having in this country, if he doesn't have specific answers to these questions, would you be among the growing chorus of people who say he should step down?
Well, I would be, and bear in mind, Steve, I was the first one to say we needed to have a travel ban over there, restrict visas, have a quarantine of people that are trying to leave Liberia, not only for us, but for other countries. This is why you have other countries that have stopped their flights. But the fact that they have so politicized this, and there was so little instruction given to these hospitals, and the arrogance that you are hearing from so many of the administration, I don't blame the American people one bit for being upset and concerned. I'm concerned also, and everyone should be concerned.
I mean, now we have this second nurse, this 29-year-old nurse from Dallas who treated the patient who died. She got on a plane to Cleveland and then got back on a plane to Dallas with a 99.5 fever. And then turned herself in the next day. She flew. And the CDC said today, just minutes ago, oh, that shouldn't have happened. Well, it happened.
Well, that's exactly right. And when people have been exposed like that and they feel as if they have followed what they were instructed to do, then their assumption is that they would be safe or they would be fine.
Right.
And what we are seeing is, no, that is not what has happened. The level of protections necessary were not there. And therefore, now you have a nurse and the second worker that are infected. You have an individual who made domestic air flights. So now you have to wonder about that plane, the other people on the plane, the cleaning of that plane, the crew that cleaned that plane. You have an entire other number. This is why the original estimates from the CDC were that by the time we get to the end of the year, we'd have 1.4 million people worldwide who had been
Very
infected
frightening,
with Ebola.
Congressman. Listen, I can't wait to see you in action tomorrow. Get the answers, and thank you so much for joining us as always.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks,
Bye-bye.
we're coming back. Don't go away.